Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm not going to cover too much on this watch list. Put to call ratio right now is at 0.70, really not too high. It's right in the middle, so it's not really favoring either direction. Now the economic calendar for the week. Let's see, Monday we have Empire State Manufacturing Index at 8:30. We got Harker FOM is FOM speaker at 10:30 a.m. Tuesday we have core retail sales and retail sales at 8:30. The rest of the day don't really see too much of anything. We got Bowman speaking at 9:20. Wednesday, let's see, good bunch of Fed speakers, Waller, Williams, Bowman. Then we get the Beige Book at 2. The Beige Book is kind of like the bond auction one. Sometimes it's got big moves and sometimes it doesn't. So keep an eye on that. And we got, geez, we got all the Fed speakers speaking Wednesday. Waller, Williams, Bowen, Harker, and Cook. Geez, I'm all speaking between 12 and 3:15. So definitely keep an eye on that. Wednesday going to be a busy day. We'll have to see if that does anything. Thursday, unemployment claims at 8:30 a.m. Another Fed speaker. We got Powell speaking this time at noontime. Let's see, just speak at an economic club of the New York luncheon. And after Powell speaks, you get a bunch of Fed speakers again. Goldsby, Barr, and Hawker. There's so many Fed speakers this week. So keep an eye on that. Check the economic calendar every day and make sure that times don't change and things pop up, because they do all the time. Friday, nothing really. Harker speaking at 9 a.m. But yeah, a lot of Fed speakers this week. When is the next FOMC? I think it's right at the end of October, 1st November. Let's see. Yeah, November 1st. FOMC statement and press conference at 2:30 in Jolts. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of Fed speakers this week. Keep an eye on that. Write them down. Check them every day. Make sure nothing pops up and stuff like that. So VIX is, in my opinion, VIX is really low considering what is happening in the world right now. There's a lot of huge unknowns, but the market doesn't care. It didn't really drop that much. VIX is picking up. Weekly candles, a red hammer. It did reject 20 pretty harshly right here, but I think, it gets over 21 and something else happens, we could see VIX shoot to 25, 30, maybe even 35. If we have any more escalation happening in the Middle East, which I think that we probably will, but we'll see and trade what happens based on the news and day by day, so we can't really speculate too much. With that, SPY really didn't drop that much on Friday. I mean, considering that VIX really dumped pretty popped pretty good, and VIX and SPY didn't drop that much. So I watched SPY underneath 430. Did it fill this gap? Not quite filled the gap. Pretty close though. Low was 438.43. Yeah, it missed it by maybe $1.50 or something like that. So maybe it pops up enough to fill the gap before it drops down, but who knows? There's so much unknown in the world right now. It's kind of hard to be bullish on anything when everything is pretty much going to hell. So inflation's going up, tensions are rising all over the world, and we're sending battleships and troops and stuff over to the Middle East and stuff like that. And worried about North Korea and South Korea, and there's so much going on. And the fact that VIX is not higher and SPY is lower just shows it just doesn't care. But I would watch it over 437, push to 440 to fill the gap to maybe even 445, 450 if SPY doesn't really care. But me, I'd be kind of watching it more or less morally on the underneath 430 area. Gets down to 430. We could see 425, 420 even now. If it gets that back to 420 again, we could definitely see a nasty little dump right here. If it gets under 420, it could dump to 410 pretty quickly. So got a little bit of a trend line going right here. So, but I'm looking down. We're probably going to get at 410. I'm sure something's going to happen this week. The market will probably get pretty volatile. We'll have to see what happens. NVIDIA, a couple of the stocks I'm going to talk about this today have ER this week. So, but we'll get to those in a minute. NVIDIA, I know I had a nice little run up. Rejected the 475 area, head and shoulders on the weekly and daily. Daily left head, right shoulder, left head, right shoulder. Neckline is pretty much down here at the 415 area, 410 area. I would watch it underneath. It would say around down to 450. It gets under 450, get a push down to 440, down to the 410 area, that neckline. If the news is really, really bad, we could end up seeing a huge dump on NVIDIA. People will probably come down to the 375, which is gap support. I don't know if it will fill on the first shot or if it will need to bounce. I would say it probably will need to bounce first because that was a pretty significant drop from 475, 100 points. The RSI will probably be pretty low if it drops that much. 400 would be a pretty big psychological psychological number. It will probably end up getting bought by the algos. So got bought here and here. So if it does manage to end up breaking below 410, watch for the algos to jump into 400 before it gets dumped to 375. So definitely keep an eye on NVIDIA. That head and shoulders on the daily and weekly will play out. It's just a matter of when. It could be this week. It could be a month from now. It could be 2 years from now. It is what it is. Tesla has ER this week, I think on the 18th. Oops, wrong. I keep doing that. Tesla has ER this week. To me, I'm kind of looking at the head and shoulders. Kind of head and shoulders within the head and shoulders. You get the left, the head. Well, you could say it kind of like, no, yeah, the left, the head, and the whole right shoulder right here. Then you get a left shoulder here and the head and the right shoulder here. So you get like a head and shoulder within a head and shoulder. So depends on how you look at it. To me, that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to look at it from this smaller head and shoulder right here, because you could say it's kind of like this was a left, the head, and this was kind of a partial right, and it played out. So I will kind of look at it from the head and shoulders from here to here to here. And for 240 being the neckline will be the area to watch. So watch under 250 for a run down to 240. Gets under 240, we could see a dump down to 220 again. You got a gap down here at 220 to fill on the daily. So remember, earnings is coming out this week. ER could be, the implied volatility could be up on just earnings. So I'm just mentioning it because it's got a nice head and shoulders setup. It could end up being a nice little play. Who knows? So Meta rejecting the 330 area. Well, 330. I think 330. Yeah, 330. Reject the 330. RCT trend line right here on the daily, top of the color channel. Did almost bounce at the 20 EMA on the daily. Bounced a tiny bit, but to me it's just a bear flag. If it gets below this 3, we'll round down to 312. It gets below that, we'll probably end up dumping to 300. So could end up seeing a nice little dump to 300 on Meta. So definitely keep an eye on that. Microsoft. Microsoft bounced up. It's like rejecting this RCT trend line on the daily. I like when it's doing that. It kind of rejected that. So if the market ends up dumping and has a negative reaction, that we could end up seeing more downside on Microsoft. So I'd watch it underneath 326, push to 320 to 315, 310. It gets below this 310 area. It's got gap support right here. Well, you get the big psychological number 300, which will probably end up bouncing But if it doesn't, you get the gap support right here at 293. So it could bounce off that. So keep an eye on Microsoft. Netflix has got ER this week too. It is down here in the 350 area. It's tried to bounce on Friday, and Netflix is one of these stocks where it could just not care what the market's doing and just go do its own thing. But I'm looking at it from a couple point of views. One is that it's got a gap fill right down here at the 340. So if the market's weak, it could come down here and fill the gap and bounce off 340 before doing anything, or it may not fill it right away, and we could end up having a little bit of an ER run up. I think it's like what, the 18th. Double check. Yeah, the 18th, which is what, Wednesday. So we'll have to see if it fills the gap before it makes a run up. I'd watch it from either direction, either for a gap fill underneath 352, or if it gets over 356 for push to 360, and try to make a pre-earnings run-up right here. Usually Netflix is notorious for having massive run-ups into earnings, but it hasn't in a while. That's why I always keep an eye on it, because it could one of these days. It used to have massive runs back years ago, but it hasn't in a while. So Amazon is the last one I'm looking at. Amazon, it didn't quite fill the gap. It came close, so I'm kind of like, what was the other one like this? Was it SPY? I'm already having a brain fart. Yeah, it's pretty much the same chart as SPY. It's got, it didn't quite fill the gap. It could end up popping a little bit and fill the gap, or it just could end up making a run down to the 125. So keep an eye on it below 129, push to 125. It breaks this 125 area, 124 area. It could go to 120, 115. Got a gap fill down here at the 107 area. So, and a little bit of a gap up here. Did I fill it? 134.48. It didn't quite fill it, like 60 cents, 70 cents. And so yeah, watch it from both directions on Amazon. So those are the things I'm watching for the week. We get a lot of stuff going on as far as like the conflict and news and Powell and Fed speakers. So we're going to play it day by day and play it by one event at a time. And we'll just see what happens this week. And hopefully it's a good week and we don't get too many fake outs and too much chop. So that's going to do it for the watch list. Thanks for watching.